go this week.
I know we haven't talked with our power rankings, but I'll tell you this much. My power rankings this week have changed dramatically compared to last week. Um,
Oh yeah, mine are very different looking
we
than
could
they
go
are
we could
right
go
now.
10-1. I feel like that's the right way to go. I'll start
Yep.
off. I'll start off at 10.
Go ahead.
I have Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Okie dokie.
Do you want?
You have the number one offense and number one defense at number 10. But sure, I'll hear you out on it.
All right, so I have the number one offense and the number one defense at number 10. They also have the best point differential at 120 points in the league. One thing that kind of scares me with this Buffalo team is a game last week against the Miami Dolphins. In the first half, we saw how much of an issue it was for Josh Allen not having a running back to be able to move the ball. And that was against a Miami Dolphins team that has struggled defensively this season. And for that to be, the big issue right now is not being able to move the ball that well, running the ball. I mean, they're averaging what? The Titans are averaging, or not the Titans, I'm sorry. The Bills are averaging 4.4 yards a carry. So it's not like they're not averaging, decent numbers. The issue is that they're not running the ball. They've only attempted to run the ball 202 times, and they've had to lead for a lot of these games. So 202 times through 7 games is not a lot. Um, you know, to me that's my biggest concern. You can't have a close game like that against Miami and be higher than 10 when there's 9 teams better than you right now.
Agree to disagree,
All
but
right.
that's fine. You know, they're averaging like just almost 33 points a game.
32 and a half.
Um, and that game last week, they played their worst football of the season for 3 quarters, and they still won 26-11. So, I mean, they still routed the Dolphins. They started off really slow, and they were playing poor football. I agree with that. But at number 10, I have a team moving into my power rankings that was not even on my list last week.
Can I guess? Can
And
I guess? Can I guess? Can I guess?
uh, yeah, you're going to get it too.
It's the New Orleans Saints.
No,
Oh,
it is not the New Orleans Saints. They have looked good, but with Jameis Winston going down, I don't. Simeon played good last week. I got to see him do it again before I can put him in my top 10 team with a backup quarterback.
I know who it is. It's the New York
My number
Jets.
10 team. My number 10 team is the New England Patriots.
Whoa. Mac Daddy?
Uh, Mac Daddy has looked good and impressed me early. Uh, the defense looks great. They still have Big Bill Belichick. They're now 4-4 after a rocky start, but those were also Mac's first games, and he was making some stupid mistakes. He has not been making them the past few weeks. If he can continue to play this well, the defense is going to be the New England defense. It kind of always is. Bill Belichick always keeps it that way. They definitely have a shot in making the playoffs. They're actually only half game out right now of being the 7 seed in the playoffs. So if they can continue winning, they may be able to sneak into the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough to go to a Super Bowl by any means. That's why they're number 10. But I do think that they right now look like a playoff caliber team.
All right.
You want me to go on number 9
At
here?
9, I'll let you go first. We'll go back and forth today.
I got the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
And they're only this low because of the Derrick Henry injury. If he was still healthy and on the team, they'd be much higher on my list this week. They have looked pretty impressive. Defense still needs to get it together a little bit. But that was a big win for them over Indianapolis. That kind of almost sealed them to win the division with 2 wins over Indy, and now Indy being just below 500. So, but I got to see him for a week or two without Derrick Henry before I could put him back towards the top half of the top 10 in the NFL. If Henry could come back for the playoffs, obviously that changes a lot for them. But right now, with the looks of no Derrick Henry, I got him at 9. Your number 9, Matt?
Is the Tennessee Titans, all for the same reasons.
Kinda.
So
Yeah.
I had Derrick Henry and these Tennessee Titans ranked third last week. The injury to Derrick Henry dropped them all the way to 9th, even after a win against the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing that I've noticed when I was looking at over this team is that they don't even have 2,000 yards passing it this season. And losing pretty much your MVP in Derrick Henry and expecting Ryan Tannehill to carry this team is just not going to happen, because we saw Tannehill without Derrick Henry in Miami. Now, granted, it's a different team. It's kind of the same Tannehill still. He's got 11 touchdowns and 7 picks this season. You know, he's not very consistent this year. Having Julio Jones, who's not healthy, I guess you would say. He's on and off the field. Really, the big thing with them is kind of what you're saying, is you have to watch a week or two, see how they play. You hope the defense steps up. The defense, has struggled a little bit. They do get the turnovers when needed. But can Adrian Peterson give you maybe 80, 90 yards? That might be enough for this Tennessee team. So that's where I'm saying with Tennessee. I have them 9. Like I said, I've dropped them from 3 to 9 just based off of a Derrick Henry injury, and that's how important he is to that team. Going up to 8, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
Did you come over and look at my list?
Why do you have the
Because
Baltimore
I
Ravens?
also have
8?
the Baltimore Ravens.
So
yes, I do also have the Ravens 8.
all right. So with the Ravens, last week I had them sitting at 10. Moving them up to 8, coming off of a bye week, I don't feel like it was much they did to move up. I feel like the teams that were in front of them struggled a little bit, and Baltimore took the advantage of having that bye week and was able to move up in my power rankings. The big thing with Baltimore is, again, another team that doesn't have 2,000 passing yards through 7 games. Will Lamar be able to get it done when the games actually matter? And I'm not talking at the end of the regular season. I'm talking about in the playoffs. And that's one thing that Lamar has struggled with in the past. So if Lamar can get it done, the rest of this regular season, get them maybe the 2-3 seed. I don't see them getting the 1 seed. If he gets them to the 2-3 spot, Baltimore might be up a little bit higher on my list. But as of right now, I got them sitting at 8.
Yeah, I agree. I have them at 8. I had them at 10 last week. They moved up in front of a couple teams, and being that you guys see I put New England in, obviously a team has been bumped out too that they have gone in front of. So they took advantage of the bye week and some weird and poorer play this weekend from some of the top teams. I got them at 8. At 7, I have the Raiders.
Yay, we have somebody different.
Okay. I like that. Just so all the listener knows out there, by the way, me and Matt don't actually talk to each other about our power rankings until right now, so neither one of us knows who has what where. I have the Raiders just ahead of Baltimore. We did beat Baltimore earlier in the season, and like you said, Baltimore's past game has been okay, but not great this year. I want to see Lamar. Maybe he's been dynamic, obviously, as always as a playmaker, but I want to see him throw a little bit more. Not much, to be honest. I do like the balance of their offense, but the Raiders, I'm keeping them right in front of them. They kind of moved up because some people moved out and back with their play this past weekend. I still think I do believe we're a playoff team, but much like the Patriots in Baltimore, I don't think that they're going to quite compete for a Super Bowl. So that's where I'm at on my Raiders. Who do you have at 7 here, since we have different teams?
I have my reigning number 1 last week, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Losing to Trevor Siemian. Oh, hold on. That defense looked terrible last week, and it's pretty bad because the defenses looked good this year. I don't think it's a sign for concern. I just feel like right now with this Tampa Bay team, there are teams that are better than them offensively and defensively. It's not a knock on Tom Brady. I do feel that they don't run the ball enough, and eventually that's going to take a hit on Tom Brady, which, we're going to have a playoff scenario coming up later on in this pod. I'm going to explain on Tom Brady taking a hit. But I have Tampa at 7. I think if they run the ball maybe a little bit more, they're only averaging 95 yards on the ground, which seems like a lot, but it's also like 22nd in the league. So, yeah, you're leading the league in passing yards with a 45-year-old quarterback, but you're also towards the bottom tier of rushing yards a game. And like I said, the defense did not step up when I was expecting them to step up against Trevor Siemian, who technically is the third-string cornerback from New Orleans. So, that kind of scares me a little bit that a third-string corner could come in and rip apart your defense. And then Tom looked terrible on the last pass of the game. Well, not of the game, but the last pass to keep the game alive, where he threw the pick 6. It looked like he didn't even see the cornerback. So I moved Tampa all the way down from 1 to 7 after a week. It's possible for them to move back up. I'm not sold on them being 7th. With 6, I have your Raiders.
Okay.
I believe they were, just like Baltimore, a product of the bye week. They ended up having a bye. Tampa played poorly to me. Tennessee loses their best player. Buffalo, to me, didn't show that they were better than Las Vegas in my eyes. Cincinnati lost. So, to me, the Raiders have done everything correctly so far this season. I mean, besides the off-field shit. And Max Crosby, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how good of a defensive lineman Max Crosby is. And him with Ngakoue, they've been getting a lot of pressures throughout the whole season. And Derek Carr is doing his thing. So, to me, I actually feel like this is a Super Bowl contending team in the AFC. I'm not going to say they're going to get to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl. But if I had to choose 3 AFC teams right now to be a favorite to play in the AFC Championship game, this Raiders team is probably in the top 3.
I don't disagree with that. That they have a shot if they continue to play this way. The defense has played so much better than I thought they had the personnel to do. The unsung hero of this Raiders defense this year has not even been Max Crosby. It's been Denzel Perryman at linebacker. He is leading the league in total tackles, and he is leading the league in run stuffs. He has caused us to be a much, much improved run defense. We have been terrible, especially at getting gashed with runs in between the tackles and up the gut over the past few years. He has come in and played great. The addition of KJ Wright has paid off. He has helped on the outside of the linebacking core, and as you stated, Crosby and Ngakoue have been doing their thing. Max Crosby is the most underrated defensive player in football. Nobody talks about this dude, but he has more pressures, I think, than anybody in the league right now. And he also has, I think, 6.5 or 7.5 sacks. He's doing his thing. Derek Carr's look good. I agree with you on all that. I have it flip-flopped from you. I have Tampa Bay here. Their defense has looked absolutely terrible. I agree with you. But they are also really, really banged up in the secondary. Their first, 4 corners are hurt right now. So I don't even know what they're supposed to do on defense. They still have Tom Brady.
I can't blame the injuries, but,
Look,
It's
I
still
get
your
it. They
team.
lost to New Orleans, but you know the craziest thing about that Tom Brady pick? That is in under 2 minutes in a one-score game. That is the first time he's ever thrown an interception in that situation. Ever.
That's
Like
remarkable.
that's how good this dude. That's how good this dude is under pressure. That's why he can't. He can't go. I'm sorry, Derek Carr. You cannot be put in front of Tom Brady right now. When I think we do still have some issues. Kind of almost the opposite issues right now. Our defense look great. Our offense looks good, but I think we lack a big time weapon other than Darren Waller.
My issue with Vegas right now,
Where Tampa Bay has like 100 weapons, so it's kind of hard to slow them down. And I think that would be the difference in that game. And that's kind of I looked at those two as very close, but I thought Tampa Bay would beat us in a game, so I put them above the Raiders.
my thing with Vegas, and I feel like this is what's stopping me from putting Vegas higher than 6, is that with the banged up Josh Jacobs, you guys have only had 600
Yeah.
rushing yards, I believe. And
Yeah, no, the rush attack's been putrid without him.
if that
We
rushing
don't
attack
have
that rushing attack gets better to go along with Derek
if
Carr, you're
Jacobs
good.
can get healthy.
Yeah, if Jacobs
if
is healthy, you
Jacobs
guys are
gets
good.
Healthy, I move us up. I'd move us up. But we, for some reason, Kenyon Drake has not been really getting it done on the ground with us. He's been an excellent weapon out of the backfield catching the ball, which is most of what he got brought in to do. But with Josh Jacobs being down, I was hoping to see him step up and run the ball kind of like he did in, Arizona, and he hasn't shown me that yet. I agree. If Josh Jacobs is back, I think they're higher. But as of right now, they're not. So we're moving into the top half here. We're moving into number 5. This is where I have the Buffalo Bills. They right now, to me, are the best team in the AFC. Number 1 offense in the league, number 1 defense in the league. Part of that's been the opponent, but this offense is kind of reminding me of like the Chiefs of the past couple years, where they look shaky at times, but then they just flip the switch and drop 30 on you, which is kind of what they just did to the Dolphins last week. I mean, really, they played bad for 3 quarters, not even just the first half, and they still smoked a horrible Miami team, granted, but still did what they were supposed to do. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC right now, talent-wise, because Mahomes is struggling a little bit this year. So that's why they're my favorites. I can't take them out of the top 5 with what I've seen from them. Their pass rush is really good, and they have like 7 guys that they rotate in and out to rush the passer that all have gotten home this year. So they're really deep, and I think they're built for a deep run and a run to the Super Bowl this year.
All right, at 5, I have the New Orleans Saints. For some reason, it doesn't matter who is their quarterback, they somehow win games. Literally. You or me could line up at quarterback right now, and the New Orleans Saints is going to find a way to win a game. The defense has been playing great. Their 2 big wins.
Top 5 in the league, I believe.
Their 2 big wins this year are against Green Bay, 38-3, and then against Tampa Bay, was it the final score 37 or 36-25? So, against the 2 teams that you're going to end up seeing in the playoffs, more than likely, you handled your own. Now, granted, both of them games were at home, but Tom Brady's also 1-3 in the last 2 seasons against New Orleans. So the New Orleans defense has been playing really well, and I believe Sean Payton has come up with great game plan offensively to keep this team into games. And to me, I can't overlook that even with the Jameis Winston injury, because I believe Taysom Hill is the better quarterback. And if Taysom comes back, this team, I feel like the ceiling is so much higher if Taysom Hill comes back and he's able to perform at a high level, not dealing with a concussion injury. So, to me, I have the Saints at 5. I do believe that they could be higher. The one thing that kind of scares me with the New Orleans Saints team is the weapon standpoint. The receivers are a bunch of, I guess you would say, low-name players that are making a name for themselves. And Kamara hasn't looked like Alvin Kamara of the past. I don't know if that has anything to do with Drew Brees or, Kamara just taking a beating. And
also the fact that he's the main weapon on the field.
Yeah, he's taking a beating. So,
yeah, defenses are just keying on him. And somehow he's still being productive, by the way. It's not terrible. He's just not looking like a top 3 back right now.
At 4, would you like to go? Or you like me to go?
I could go at 4. At 4, I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Boo.
The roster's still talented, but the problem right now is they've played a couple bad games, obviously, but Kyler Murray is also a little banged up now after the Green Bay game. So that worries me a little bit. But, being that there are only losses to, Rodgers, I still got to keep him towards the top of the league. Ton of talent on both sides of the ball. So they could possibly be moving going forward. Also, side note on your last round, the New Orleans Saints are not in my top 10.
Wow.
And it's only because of the quarterback situation and the lack of weapons. I know they got it done last week, but that was very much a defensive win. That defense is Tom Brady's kryptonite, it seems like. I need to see what they can do with a backup for another week before they can crack my top 10. So, yeah, I got Arizona 4. A little bit banged up. Kyler being banged up is big. And, off that bad loss, I can't put him any higher than that. So that's where I got him slotted. Who do you have slotted in it for?
We are not them boys. The team that's going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Dallas Cowboys.
Such a hater.
Come on. We know this. They haven't won a playoff game since 1940. The Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys are still top 5 to me. I still haven't had them crack the top 3. There's nothing to do with them being Dallas. They played well on Sunday against Minnesota without Dak, which hurts Dak's possible MVP run, in my opinion. But there was an injury late in the game to cornerback Trevon Diggs that if it's an injury that withholds him out of games for a few weeks, I feel like that's going to be bad for Dallas. They still haven't cleared Dak. I know there's been talks that he's going to possibly play this week. You beat a Minnesota Vikings team with Cooper Rush. I mean,
Minnesota's not that bad of a team.
I'm not going to move you up on it. And, it's still the big thing that kills me with Dallas is the penalties. They get the turnovers. They have penalties. The penalties saved them from being possibly 3-5 instead of 6-1 or 3-4, whatever the hell it would have been.
Okay. Who do you have as number 3?
All right. So at 3, I have the Arizona Cardinals. This is where I had the issue with 3 and 4. I did sit down and think about, does Dallas crack Arizona now with an Arizona loss? And I can't do that to Arizona because if AJ Green decided to look the correct way, we might not be talking Green Bay. So, it was all of a look. It's not like Green Bay went out there and completely ripped Arizona into the shreds. Arizona stayed with them. Green Bay made that Arizona offense look like it wasn't as powerful as it was in the past, which is one of the reasons why Green Bay hasn't been mentioned in my power rankings. But, Arizona, I still feel they have a shot in the NFC. I feel like they're the 3rd best team in the NFC. And one loss to a Green Bay Packers team with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur putting in his play style of wanting to run the ball and take the ball out of Murray's hands You know, and I said that on the pod last week. You got to keep the ball out of Murray's hands. You got to run the ball. Aaron Rodgers will get it done. Aaron Rodgers got it done. So I just feel, to me, I couldn't move Zona down off the loss that was kind of, in my eyes, written already. It's not like they got slacked. They went out there, they played a game. So I moved them down to 3. They're the third best team in the NFC.
They didn't get slapped, but they also barely hung with a Green Bay team without its top 3 receivers. That's the only reason I have them as the 4th ranked team in the NFC, because my top 4 is all NFC teams right now. At 3, I have a team that you had just behind them in the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why I do, but I do. That was a really impressive win to me, to win with your backup against that Vikings team. The Vikings team has not been great, but they're not that bad that they should lose to a backup quarterback. Dallas has playmakers everywhere. They have playmakers in the backfield. They have playmakers at wide receiver. They have playmakers on defense at multiple levels, at linebacker, at corner. Their line's been playing well. They have a pretty complete roster right now. The Dak injury scares me a little bit, but I think they're more just trying to rest his leg because it was starting to bug him. As you said, if Diggs is out, it could affect me more, but I haven't seen anything saying he's out for anything long-term yet, so I still have him at 3. At number 2, I have the team that I believe is even better than them, and that is the Green Bay Packers.
What the fuck?
I was going to put the Packers... I was going to put them 1, but...
Let me guess. Von Miller swayed you to 1. Von Miller swayed his way into number 1 with the Los Angeles Rams. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You hear this, fans? Just go buy Robbie an ice cream bar, and he'll move you from 2 to 1 just because you bought him an ice
get
cream
that win
bar.
Against a very good team. Very good team in Arizona. He gets a win without his top 3 receivers. The defense in Green Bay looks fantastic right now after that game. I mean, they played Arizona so physical. It looked like almost a completely different defense. I said that they needed to step up to get a win, and that's exactly what they did. So a lot of praise to Green Bay. If you didn't have the stuff going on with Rodgers right now, maybe you'd be number 1.
So, I want to get this straight. If I go to the store right now and I buy you a lollipop, and I'm number 2 on your power rankings, do I go to number 1?
No.
Because the Los Angeles Rams went out and bought a lollipop, and they moved from number, I don't even know you had them last week, to number 1.
I had him at 3.
All right, so they got a lollipop and went 3 to 1. Oh man. All right, so I have, if you can't tell, I have the Rams at 2. And you have the Rams at 1.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. Originally yesterday when I wrote it down, I had Green Bay 1, the Rams 2. With Rodgers going out with COVID, I swapped it before the show.
All right, so power ranking wise, I got to keep Green Bay 1. You know,
mind you, by the way, I had Green Bay 6 last week, so I'm still showing them love. I moved them up a lot.
All right, so as of right now,
I moved you up a lot.
What I'm saying is with Green Bay, as of right now, through the 9 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it's 9 weeks, through the 9 weeks, Green Bay's been the best team in football. That's where my power ranking is with Green Bay. Why I have them at 1. Do I think that's going to change with the coronavirus dealing with Aaron Rodgers? Yes, I do believe that that Green Bay will drop from 1. Probably we'll see him around 4 or 5, maybe 6, depending on how bad the game is on Sunday. But this Green Bay team has been the best team in football by far. You know, they probably have the best key wins. I mean, they beat Cincinnati in overtime. I know they've beaten Arizona now. So they're not getting the lollipop wins that a lot of these teams in the top 10 are. Now, that's not an excuse for anybody inside the top 10. You know, you play what the schedule gives you. But to me, I feel like Green Bay's been the best team through the 9 weeks. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the MVP right now. He's got this team chiming. I believe Matt LaFleur is the coach of the year right now for getting this team to buy in, especially when Aaron Rodgers wasn't even here in training camp. You know, the Rams team, going back and forth between 1 and 2 here. You know, the Rams team, I have it 2. The addition of Von Miller, I do believe, helps that defense. You know, we've had that discussion. I think that's going to help not only the defense in general, but I believe it's going to help their 2 key players in Aaron Donald and in Jalen Ramsey. I love what they've been doing. Stafford and Cooper Kupp. You know, Robert Woods is getting involved. The Rams are a very good team. But
They also have Van Jefferson, by the way.
the Rams also let Houston score 22 unanswered on Sunday. I got nervous.
Come on, bro. They're playing prevent defense.
Ah.
And it happens all the time, dude. Teams get a bunch of garbage time points after getting smoked. Literally happens every week.
It didn't happen with the
It's how
Eagles.
It's half of your Eagles' points previous to that last game, damn it.
No, but I have the Packers 1. I have the Rams 2. You can flip-flop them like you have. Like I said, to me, I had them at 1 because of what Rodgers and LaFleur has done up to now. You know, my